think it was the best one yet.
I was going to say, that was like, not only was that really in sync, but that was also really sharp.
Yeah, it's a shame that the audience can't hear the claps that we do before the show to sync up the audio, because
you wouldn't want to, but that one was pretty perfect.
Maybe it'd be best to leave them in this time. Probably not.
Probably not. It'd probably blow out the eardrums.
Yeah.
Sorry to burst your bubble.
How are you? What's new in your life, Madison?
A lot of nothing, you know. Okay, let me back up a little bit.
We didn't even start.
I am notoriously bad at being taught things. Not because I'm bad at learning, but because I get frustrated with myself.
Okay.
So, like, for example, my dad trying to teach me how to drive did not go well.
This was this past weekend, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, did not go well.
How did it not go well?
I am not someone who can be talked at in a certain way, or I will get very upset and burst into tears.
Yeah, okay.
So, when you are in a high-stress environment, like people usually are when they're driving for the first time in this large vehicle, and you raise your voice to me, it makes me anxious and I have an anxiety attack, and then I burst into tears, and then I don't want to try anymore.
Let's dig into that trauma. Was it parallel parking specifically?
Actually, I'm amazing at parallel parking, and it was never an issue for me. Literally looked up a diagram online one day. I said I could do that, and guess what? I did it.
I've never heard of somebody looking up a diagram.
Really?
To help them learn how to parallel park.
It's so easy. If you look up a diagram, it's so easy.
I know that the one rule to follow is you line up your car close to the car on the side of the road with your side view mirror parallel to theirs.
That is the diagram that I was looking at, yes.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
And then you back up and turn. Mm-hmm. And then at some arbitrary point during that turn, you slide into the space, and then failing that once or twice, you finally get it right.
I've never failed.
Never?
Never. Only on a rare occasion when I'm overconfident and I swing it too early.
So you have failed once?
Maybe once. But I'm pretty good at parallel parking. Pretty good. Pretty good.
So,
like Larry David.
I believe you. It goes against everything that I know about you, but I believe you.
Thanks for that vote of confidence. Anyway, the point of that was to preface that whenever I'm being taught certain things, I get very frustrated if I don't pick up on it right away, because I pick up on a lot of things very quickly, like parallel parking. So David has been teaching me how to disc golf.
Okay.
And it's been interesting.
Very nice.
Yeah, I've been really proud of myself. I've been doing a much better job at accepting criticism and not getting so frustrated with myself and letting things just like breeze past. And I'm sure my medication that I take has probably played a part in that. So I can't, it's not all me.
How about that?
A lot of it is my medication.
I love disc golf, but it's just so hard to hit the Frisbee with the 5-iron, I'm
just going to leave that.
I hope they can hear the hum of the AC in the background. Oh, shoot. So how's it been learning how to Frisbee golf?
It's called disc golf 1.
Right.
It's disc golf.
Right. And what is the difference between a disc and a Frisbee?
Actually, there is a difference.
Okay.
Because it hurts like a bitch if you were to catch it like a Frisbee.
Okay.
You know how if you try to like catch a Frisbee with your hand, like in between your hand?
Yes.
You can't do that with these discs because they are much heavier. And I've literally almost broken my finger doing that.
Damn.
So you can't do that. Like with a Frisbee, it's nice and light. You can just grab it between your thumb and your index finger and just snatch it up. You can't do that with these discs. Like they will fuck your fingers up. So you got an alligator smack it.
You got an alligator smack it.
Alligator smack it.
Now, it's my understanding that in disc golf, as it's called.
Correct.
You don't necessarily catch the disc. Aren't you just supposed to get it into the chain?
Yes, the basket.
Basket?
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. But the point was that they're just a different type of disc. No, we're not throwing the discs at each other. Whenever I fail at throwing a disc, David would throw it back to me. And that's when I would then almost break my finger trying to catch it.
I see.
Like a regular Frisbee.
My favorite part of disc golf is wandering into the underbrush to find the disc and inevitably not finding it.
Well, that's happened to us many a time.
How many discs is it right to bring with you on a disc golf excursion?
At least 3.
At least 3.
At least 3. David has a whole backpack full of disc golfs.
Okay.
Disc golfs. Of discs.
Right.
But you need a putter, a mid-range, and a long range. Is that what you call it? A fairway driver?
Oh, so you actually referred to the different terminology in the way that you referred to golf.
Yeah, essentially. And the difference is really just like the weight of the disc and the curvature of it. But there is a difference, I have learned.
Have you looked up a diagram?
I've not. David has thrown many a disc into the distance and said, "Watch this. Look at that. Do you see how it moves?
That's amazing.
Now look at this one."
So are you planning on doing that this weekend?
No, this weekend I'm going back to my dad's to visit my family because I haven't seen them in a while.
Oh, for your second driving lesson.
Yeah.
Nice.
I have to drive 2.5 hours to get to my second driving lesson.
Holy hell.
So it'll be a long trip.
I don't know what the general universal experience with most people concerning this is, but learning to merge and drive on the highway is, I'm surprised, isn't responsible for more deaths every year.
I think maybe it is. We just don't hear about it.
There's
like an accident every day on 83.
You take that road every day, right?
No. No, but every time I do, there's an accident, pretty much.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
that's how I know.
Right. I remember.
This is a traffic reporting podcast, guys.
It's a traffic reporting, political podcast, fashion podcast.
Medical.
Oddity, paranormal, supernatural, true crime.
Medical.
We
are doctors.
We are. Starting now. I don't know what your experience with learning how to merge onto the highway was, but I'm gonna edit that out.
I'm leaving him.
I remember having such a tough, I was paralyzed with fear sometimes, like merging, learning how to drive on the highway.
Like, what if it's in my blind spot? What if I miss it? Yeah, and now here I am, like,
yeah.
My second lesson.
It's everyone else's problem when I merge.
Yeah.
What
about you? What are you doing this weekend?
I am going to take it easy. I'm going to go to the flea market tomorrow with a couple of friends. I'm going to work on some art.
Okay.
I had a dream recently.
Oh, this is going in a wild direction.
I had 2 dreams. I had a dream that there was a dog made out of flowers.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
And I was screaming at my friend. I was like, "Do you see this dog? It's made out of flowers."
Are you sure you weren't like on something?
I honestly couldn't tell you. And then I had another dream that I was on a ski trip and I opened up my suitcase and there were a bunch of Greek statue heads in the suitcase. So I'm currently working on a piece of art of a skier going down a mountain with a Greek statue head for a head.
And wait, so was this art inspired by the dream?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, this would be pretty wild if you had just come up with this and then dreamt about it.
But I also really want to try drawing the dog made out of flowers, but I don't know.
The dog made out of flowers.
I think that might be exceeding my ability.
I doubt that, but I think that would be beautiful.
Yeah. And it was a cute little dog, too.
I would love to, was it a little puggle?
It looked like a puggle.
A little puggle wuggle?
It looked quite much like a puggle.
A puggle. Wuggle?
And if people don't know, a puggle is a mix between a pug and...
Is this a real fact?
Help me out here.
Because I don't know it.
You don't know?
I don't know. Is this a real fact? Or are you just making shit up?
I know a puggle is a real thing. It's the closest that we can get to a squonk on God's green earth.
What? A pug?
A pug.
A pug?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is a puggle?
I'm just making that's me making shit up.
I thought it was a dog breed.
That's me making shit up.
I was almost 100% that a puggle was a dog breed.
A puddle?
A puggle.
A puggle.
It's gotta be something.
I don't think, I was just me saying a little cutesy name for my little puggy wuggy.
Oh, I swear, a puggle is a thing,
I don't
right?
think so. Because you looked at me very intently and said, help me out. And I said, I don't know, I just made that shit up.
I'd say that we should make it a thing, like get a pug to breed with like another dog breed, but I can't think of another dog breed that has Uggle in the name.
I don't know how to help you here.
Oh, whatever. It's not a big deal.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, what are you planning to flea market? What are you hoping to get?
I'm gonna get so many stickers.
Stickers.
I'm gonna get.
Wait, you can find stickers at a flea market?
Stickers, yeah. At the Harrisburg Flea, they have a lot of jewelry, a lot of stickers, a lot of art.
Okay.
And at almost every single station, they have stickers, and I'm gonna get so many stickers.
What kind of stickers?
I don't know yet. Probably dog stickers, and then I'm just gonna cover my iPad with them.
I love that.
Yeah. So that is the plan.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah. So that is going to be my delightful little Saturday for Dylan.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Wait, that's adorable. That's so wholesome.
Yeah, walking around with my little tote.
Yeah.
And my little hat and asking people for stickers.
Can I have some stickers,
Who's tickles?
Those stickles, please.
And then I'm going to spend the rest of the weekend just hanging out and enjoying art. That's the plan.
Amazing. Love that.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to My Existential Crisis, the podcast where we talk about all the things that make us question our entire sense of self. My name is Madison Epley.
And my name is Dylan Berger. That was probably the most wholesome intro that we've had yet.
I was just about to say, that was delightful.
Oh, wonderful. And what delightful thing do you have for us today, Madison?
Something that's going to destroy the delightfulness of it.
Not the delightfulness of it.
The delightfulness of
anything
it all.
But that.
Yes, I have a murder for you. A murder.
Do you want to take that again?
No. That's Jason.
Okay, so there's a murder.
A murder.
Okay.
So I have a murder of somebody who was famous in the 1960s. He was the star of a little show called Hogan's Heroes. If you've never heard of that. I've never seen it.
Everyone's favorite show they can only slightly remember.
Exactly. Precisely. That's truly what it is.
Right.
This is the unsolved murder of Bob Crane. And I'm going to read my sources quickly.
Smart.
EW.com, Wikipedia, Reddit, WhoKilledBobCrane.com,
nice.
AOL, and there was a YouTube video that I watched as well. It was about 12 minutes long, and I forget who the channel was.
Okay.
So that was really helpful. But it had original like detective and police interviews and stuff.
Cool.
So yeah. Sorry, I gotta adjust.
Take your time.
Yeah, thank you. I will.
Take mine while you're at it. This is a big thing to say.
Take your time. So, Bob Crane.
Yes.
Besides being the star of Hogan's Heroes, a show that everybody only slightly remembers, and those of you who don't remember it at all, you're not to be blamed because it was in the 60s.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you a little bit about who Bob Crane was. He was born in Waterbury, Connecticut in 1928, and he would spend his childhood and teenage years in Stamford. Have you ever watched The Office?
Yes.
Stamford, Connecticut.
Isn't that the
Stamford, Connecticut.
That's the branch office.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
In Stamford, Connecticut.
Bob Crane.
Bob Crane.
You know what you call somebody who really loves corn? Cob brain. The audience is eating that up right now.
I don't even know what to say. I'm just here existing. Well, Bob Crane graduated from Stamford High School and I just left Dylan hanging. In 1949, he married his high school sweetheart, Anne Turgeon Crane, and then he was honorably discharged from the National Guard a year later. He had a very happy life with Anne. They had 3 children together, Robert David, Deborah Ann, and Karen Leslie. In 1950, Crane began his career in radio broadcasting. He did this in Hornell, New York, which is a little suburban area. He soon moved back to Connecticut to the stations in Danbury, Bristol, and then Bridgeport, where his signal covered the northeastern portion of the New York City metropolitan area. 6 years later, he was hired by CBS Radio he got his big break to host its West Coast flagship station in Los Angeles. Yes, partly to re-energize that station's ratings, and partly because his suburban ratings in New York City were dwindling. So they're like, hey, you're not doing so great here. Let me offer you this big-time job at CBS Radio in LA and see if you do a little bit better there.
Nice, very smart.
Us out. Yeah, kind of. I guess they saw something in him. Well, they were right too, because in Los Angeles, he kind of just became a hit on this radio station. He was known for his quick wit, his comedy. He had guests like Marilyn Monroe, Frank Sinatra, and Bob Hope. His show quickly topped the morning ratings with adult listeners, and he became the king of Los Angeles airwaves. Crane's radio broadcasting led him to catch the acting bug, which led to guest hosting for Johnny Carson for a daytime game show. He was in The Twilight Zone in some appearances, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and General Electric Theater. Don't know what that is.
All the octogenarians and our audience are eating this up right now.
Eating this shit up, yeah.
I know those people.
I know them. I should have got more water. It's fine. I had my...
We have time. If you want to go get some water.
Maybe I'll make David get it for me. David! Would you be a doll and get me some more water?
Just holding it out?
I have it.
Not even in the room yet.
Sorry, the point was... Dylan's getting a beverage now. The point was, I had recently increased my ADHD medication.
Okay, nice.
And it's making my mouth really dry.
Ah, I see.
Which has been a common side effect for any medication that I take. So I stopped taking it, and then I couldn't sleep for 2 days. And then I was wondering why I couldn't sleep for 2 days, and why I was so distracted.
How's it been for the rest of the brain?
Now that I'm taking it again, it's great.
Great.
Because I stopped taking it because my mouth was dry.
Well. And
now I have a dry mouth, but I can focus and sleep.
Hey, sometimes in life we got to make little compromises.
Yes. So sorry if you hear any. I'm trying to minimize that as much as possible.
I've noticed that while editing. Something that I myself do quite a lot is I go, and I've had to look for those little spikes and delete them. Yeah. It's so embarrassing to be in a human form, you know?
Yeah, it is. It is. Well.
Rather be an orb.
An orb?
Yeah.
One day. Not the fingers crossed. More octogenarian stuff.
Great.
Ready? Coming at you. Almost done, though. After actor and comedian Carl Reiner appeared on his radio show, Crane persuaded him to book him for a guest appearance on a little thing called The Dick Van Dyke Show. Ever heard of that?
That's my favorite show 80 years ago.
I love the Dick Van Dyke Show, unironically. After seeing Crane's performance in The Dick Van Dyke Show, actress Donna Reed.
Donna Reed?
She was a really big deal.
They got Donna Reed?
Donna Reed was huge. So she had him have a guest shot on her program, The Donna Reed Show.
Damn. You can just really just put your name in front of show and that's it.
That's it. Well, that's what they did back in the day. Oh. The Donna Reed Show, The Dick Van Dyke Show, The Lucille Ball Show, The Judy Garland Show.
Wow, you know those right off the top of your head.
I do, yeah. I was a fan of the oldies. I am an octogenarian. At my core. Anyway, so he had this guest slot, became a regular cast member on The Donna Reed Show, and then he got his big break in 1965. If that wasn't big enough, playing a doctor on Donna Reed's show, he became a regular cast... Nope. He was offered the starring role in CBS's Hogan's Heroes, which was set in World War II in a Nazi POW camp. And it involved the crazy antics, the sabotage, and espionage of our allied soldiers and those stupid Nazis.
Wow. Would we be able to have a show like that today? Maybe?
Fuck. I was thinking what the equivalent would be. It'd be like fucking Ukraine and Russia.
Oh, fuck. That's like if 60 years from now, they had a sitcom about Ukrainian soldiers in the Russian field.
20 years.
20.
This was in the 60s.
Oh.
World War II was in the 40s.
Damn.
20 years. That's like now if we had a show about like the Twin Towers or some shit. I don't know. Like, but worse. I don't know. Because genocide.
Right.
Like fucking Israel and Palestine.
I know this is a political podcast, but let's not get political. I'm wondering if the Ukraine-Russian conflict will even be finished in 20 years. Probably not.
Doubt it.
No.
Doubt it. In fact, it's only heating up, apparently. According to some UK broadcasts, we're looking towards World War III.
I mean, that's been sort of a headline for a long time now. That World War III is just around now. Apparently, it's going to be U.S. and Iran.
They've started to prepare, though. They've like been handing out leaflets and like preparing people in like schools and shit. Like, for real. Like, what do we do?
That's a good thing we have nothing to worry about here in the States, huh?
No, yeah, things are just fine and dandy over here.
We'll destroy ourselves. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Anyway, so Hogan's Heroes.
Right.
Small Town Crane, being this big wig on Hogan's Heroes, now a big time show that had him nominated for an Emmy Award twice. It lasted for 6 seasons. Well, he began to succumb to the temptations of Hollywood and began having an affair with his co-star, Cynthia Lynn, his leading lady.
Cynthia Lynn.
What
a good name.
Well, that affair quickly dwindled after she left the show, and then he started dating her replacement.
What was her name?
Patricia Olsen.
Not as good as
Not as good. But anyway, so now he's involved with Lynn's replacement, Olsen. So he divorces his high school sweetheart just before their 21st anniversary.
Damn.
And he marries Olsen on the set of the show that year with his co-star, Richard Dawson, as his best man.
Oh. Okay.
One big happy family. The couple had a son. He had another son named Robert, but this son went by Scotty.
So this is the fourth son, or first child.
This is the fourth child, and he named his other son Robert again. He has 2 Roberts. He has a Robert David, and he has a Robert Scott, who goes by Scotty.
Oh.
Why would you do that?
I'm trying to think.
That's like naming all of your daughters Mary. Like Mary Fran, that's my grandmother's name. But like Mary Fran, Mary Grace, Mary Lynn. Like it's like having all of that as their name. Well,
I named all my kids Dylan. So
that's right, you did.
Yeah, Dylan, and Dylan.
You did.
It's a unisex name, so 2 of them are boys, one's a girl.
Love that. Love that. Different spellings or all the same?
All the same.
All the same. Keeping it consistent.
Put them through college.
Right?
They're doing great.
They're doing great. You never see them.
One's an engineer.
Oh gosh. Well, some quick tea before we get into the dark deets.
Oh great. This is like a 70-year-old tea.
It is 70-year-old tea.
We gotta dust out the cabinets.
Yes. Robert David, his eldest son, the one who went by Robert, he alleged that his dad was not the biological father of any of Olsen's children. Some tea. Because when they were married in 1970, Olsen was already pregnant, but Crane had a vasectomy when he was still married to Robert David's mother. So he's like, they're not my real sisters. They're not my real siblings. I don't know whose they are. But also, considering vasectomies are not quite trustworthy nowadays, who knows back in the day?
Are they not trustworthy these days?
I have known numerous people who have gotten vasectomies and then gotten pregnant.
That's hilarious.
Numerous. I mean, at least 3. Like,
wild.
At least, basically, everybody who I know who has had a vasectomy has had a child afterwards.
I thought it was 100% sterilization rate.
So I think the problem is, that it is after a set time. Like, it's not immediate. And I think people ignore that fact, and they get
back on the horse.
They get back on the horse.
If I ever got a vasectomy, I would want to make earrings out of them, I think. Sell them on Etsy.
Hey, I know a guy. David's brother, Andrea. He makes some jewelry.
Okay.
Makes some crazy things.
Yeah.
I could see him making those things.
Damn.
He uses a lot of recycled materials, and boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
It's secondhand.
Turn him into a coin purse.
Coin purse.
Really, no shortage of options.
Oh, well. Anyway. So following the cancellation of Hogan's Heroes in 1971, Crane's career was headed for a standstill. He had some guest appearances on some TV shows. He was in some Disney films. And he actually had his own show, The Bob Crane Show.
Oh, come the fuck on. The Bob Crane Show.
But it was canceled after 14 episodes.
Too many episodes.
Didn't go on for very long, no. So now we kind of get into the scandalous, if that wasn't scandalous enough already.
Yeah, it was already quite scandalous.
It was. But now we're going to get into some 1970s shit.
Oh.
1970s scandal.
Okay.
So Crane frequently videotaped and photographed his own sexual escapades. He was known to be a player, trying to be a Casanova or a ladies' man. But his closest friends saw him as a sex addict. And his unusual sexual activity began all the way back in Connecticut. It was just much more hush-hush then as a suburban father. But the Hollywood life kind of made it blossom out of him.
Sorry, when you talk about him videotaping himself, I imagine it's one of those crank, like the crank video cameras that you have to keep rolling.
Actually was.
So did he need like a camera guy in the room?
I think he might have actually. Yeah. I don't know, but I think in the early days probably needed somebody.
Oh gosh, you have to stand really still, and he gets a flash bulb.
Yeah. You're under one of those cloaks, for the old pictures.
Yeah.
You have to stand in the cloak and you're holding the flash.
Disgusting. So he was a secret pervert.
He was a secret pervert. I have a quote. Bob would flirt with a lot of women. He'd talk, and he was very charming. He had a lot of charisma. And this was a quote from his biographer, Linda Groundwater. Crane was having sex with hundreds of women, she said, adding that his fascination with photography included the recording of every aspect of his life. Every aspect of his life, which is probably why he was drawn to television to begin with. And then some of those private things that are usually kept private.
It's just like a giant film reel.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, that was a crazy night. And then one of those the metal canisters.
Yes, sets up this projector. He just gets it all, lays it all nice, and look what we did last night.
That's how perverts had to do it back in the day.
Yeah,
they had a projector room, and then they had that big ass machine that they put the film reel in.
Look at John Wayne.
Yes, exactly.
Literally, look at John Wayne Gacy.
Stag films.
Yeah. Well, he was making his own. Well, this was all prior to his fame, but it has escalated since. And so now during the run of Hogan's Heroes, Richard Dawson, who is his best friend, best man co-star, he introduced Crane to this man named John Henry Carpenter. He was
John Henry Carpenter.
John Henry Carpenter.
Usually people with 3 names are murderers or assassins.
Well, you might be onto something.
Okay.
So, Carpenter was a...
Let me say that I did call it 100 years later.
Carpenter was a regional sales manager for Sony Electronics who often helped famous clients with their video equipment. So the two men, Crane and this video salesman, Carpenter, they struck up a friendship because Crane wanted to get some video equipment for his fun times. for his fun times. So they just like became friends, and they started going to bars and nightclubs together. They realized they had a shared interest in both ladies and film, so they would film their encounters together. Crane attracted many women due to his celebrity status, and he introduced Carpenter to them as his manager. A lie. The two men videotaped their joint sexual encounters, and it was often said that Carpenter would, quote, take Crane's leftovers.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
Can't say that.
Crane's son, Scotty, the Robert Scott, who goes by Scotty, later insisted that all of the women were consenting to it being recorded. However, several claimed that they had no idea that they were being recorded until the footage was obtained by Scottsdale police after Crane's murder.
How were they able to hide that enormous equipment? That enormous loud equipment in the room?
Well, as I was going to say as technology developed, but even in the 90s, you're holding a giant camcorder to your face.
Was this in the 90s?
No, this was in the 70s.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Even in the 90s and 80s, whenever technology progressed, like, you're still holding this giant-ass camcorder. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he hid it. Maybe he was able to hide it amongst his many possessions because he's rich and famous. I don't know.
But it has a giant lens, right?
Maybe it was dark. It was dark enough.
His friends just like hiding in the dark, just cranking this enormous camera.
Or like the clicks.
He has to change the film reel halfway through.
Yeah, he's like, wait, just stay right there. Don't move.
That is wild.
So during their friendship, Carpenter and Crane, Carpenter became the national sales manager at the consumer electronics company AKAI?
AKAI?
I don't know.
Akai?
Akai?
Like the berry?
I don't know. But it's an electronics store.
I'm sorry, I was thinking of acai.
I was going to say I was literally going to say acai, but I didn't want to be that person. But you did it for yourself. So acai, you mean acai, Dylan?
That is not a berry; it's a bowl. Yeah,
what?
I'll see myself out.
A bowl?
Yeah, acai bowl. You've heard of that before?
Yes, but it's a berry, I believe.
It's also a berry?
That's why it's called the bowl is just what it's mixed with.
Oh no, I should never have corrected myself.
Stop talking. It's an embarrassment. You thought acai was a bowl?
Oh, I just know that it's a company, an acai bowl. It's a brand.
What?
Right? Can you look this up real quick?
Yeah. Acai bowl literally says acai bowl -food.
Oh no, it's a food.
It's
not
food.
Even a brand.
It's like a smoothie bowl. Acai bowls are a popular and nutritious dish made from the acai berry.
No.
These bowls are essentially thick smoothie bowls with a base made from cured acai blended with other frozen fruit.
I'm not going to come back.
I can assure you there is nothing popping up that there is an acai restaurant.
I'm in a really dark place right now.
Just like wrong after wrong after wrong. Like it just kept getting worse. Like it just because then you were trying to correct yourself, and it would just be so bad.
Oh, gosh.
Well, moving on from that mishap, so he became the national sales manager of acai. And he ended up rearranging his business trips to coincide with Crane's touring schedule so that the two could continue videotaping their joint sexual encounters.
Touring his pants off.
Touring away, yeah. Due to his playboy lifestyle, Crane and Olsen separated in 1977.
This brought them together.
Yeah, I know. You know, once a cheater, always a cheater, but she didn't see that. Didn't see that. And mere weeks away from finalizing their divorce at the time of Crane's death. So they were almost divorced.
Oh, wait. I thought him and his friend split up.
What? No.
Oh, they're still together.
Yeah.
Okay,
him and
gotcha.
his wife.
Oh,
split.
I see. Gotcha.
Olsen is the wife. So yes, they are still married at the time of his demise.
He's gonna die?
He's gonna die. This is the murder of Bob Crane, if you recall.
Right, the website that you sourced earlier.
Yes, who killed Bob Crane? So yes, this is where we get into the good juicy details. Mm-hmm. In June 1978, mere weeks before finalizing his divorce from his wife.
It's an old story.
Crane was living in Winfield Place Apartments in Scottsdale, Arizona, during a run of his short-lived comedy play at a dinner theater. That's where his career is going.
He was at a dinner theater.
Dinner theater.
I would never be caught dead at a dinner theater.
Me neither, actually. I'm very anti-dinner theater.
Really? That surprises me.
Why?
Because you're very much into theater.
Yeah, but dinner theater's different. Dinner theater's not theater. And that sounds
It's really not theater? It's below you?
It is, truly. And that sounds really snobby, but it is the kitschiest of theater. I did a dinner theater show when I was in college one time, and I swore I would never do it again. It was for charity, which is why I did it, but I would never do it again.
What was the show that you did, the production?
It was a made-up show.
As all they are.
It was an original.
Okay.
It was a whodunit murder mystery, and
fun.
Everybody thought it was me who did it,
and it wasn't.
It wasn't me. No, everyone thought it was me because I was like, "Oh, I'm just so sad that he died," and they're like, "Oh, she did it." Well, guess what, bitches? I didn't. So how about that? I don't fucking remember. This guy who didn't wear pants.
Wow, at a dinner, no less.
He ran on stage and his pants fell off or something. And I think it was unscripted. I think his pants just fell down.
And he just left it that way? I hope so.
He just played into it.
Nice.
We were all supposed to it was like a half improvised show, half scripted show. We knew who the killer was going to be, but the rest of it was improvised. It was real bad.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It was not. It was terrible, and I will never do it again. Anyway.
Right.
This was an actual play, but still it was dinner theater. So anyway, 2 days before his death, Crane called his eldest son, Scotty. Nope, Scotty's not his eldest son. This is Robert David. Back up.
Not Robert Scott.
No, not Robert Scott. This is Robert David.
Okay. See, that's the trouble when you name your kids the same name.
Why the fuck would you do that? That makes me so mad.
Is it a family name?
His name was Bob. Bob Crane.
Oh, right.
so yes, clearly it was a family name.
It is a family name, yeah.
He just had to have both of his wives have a child and name them Robert. Why would you do that?
The Bob trifecta.
Truly.
Yeah, so if one Robert dies, there's another Bob to carry on your legacy.
That's probably why he did it. Yeah. How selfish are you?
Truly.
I don't know. Anyway, so he called his eldest son Robert David, and his son said that he was 2 weeks shy of being 50 years old. He said, "I'm making changes. I'm divorcing Patty Olson," and he wanted to lose people like John Carpenter, who had become a pain in the butt. That was a quote.
John Carpenter,
a clean slate. The sales guy.
Okay, I was thinking of the director.
No. This is John Carpenter, the sales guy.
Gotcha.
I'm just going to refer to him as Carpenter. So, he wants a clean slate. He's kicking people out of his life. He's trying to revamp his career. He doesn't want to do dinner theater anymore. He wants to do another sitcom or some shit. So, on June 28th, 1978, after Crane finished signing autographs from his play, he and Carpenter go to Crane's car in the parking lot. When they get there, they discover a flat tire. Some have speculated that this flat tire may have been a first attempt on Crane's life, but he gets the tire fixed. That's just speculation. And then he and Carpenter proceed to a restaurant in Scottsdale called Bobby McGee's. And here, at Bobby McGee's, it was reported from waitresses and others that there was a very heated discussion between the two men.
Not in the Bobby McGee's, please.
In the Bobby McGee's diner, yes. It was reported, they don't know what was said.
Even the restaurant's named Robert.
I didn't even catch that. Damn. Everyone's fucking named Robert.
My middle name is Robert. Fuck.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. It's not even that good of a name, guys. I'm sorry. It's fine. It's fine. Listen, my family's named Robert. My great-grandfather's name was Robert.
My grandfather's
name was Robert. I have an Uncle Bob. I have another Uncle Bob. He named his son Bobby as my cousin. He named his son Robert, who he calls Cubby now.
Cubby?
Yeah.
Like a small drawer?
Cubby because he's a fan of the Cubs.
This has turned from a wholesome intro and a fully chaotic episode.
This is really chaotic. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, getting our act together. Sorry. Right. Bobby McGee's, Robert McGee's. They're at this restaurant. The waitresses, they said they don't know what was said. It was very heated. It was not friendly. It was very stern, very angry, and not a pleasant experience for both of them. Some people presumed that this was the very moment that Crane told Carpenter that he was going to clean up his act, and then essentially they were breaking up.
Damn.
Yeah. So after dinner, the two men returned to Crane's condo in East Chaparral Drive. There, Bob had a phone call with his wife, Patricia Olson. Carpenter would later tell police that they were arguing, and the neighbors corroborated this. The neighbors recounted the argument, said, "He's yelling so loudly he's not going to be able to perform tomorrow. He's going to lose his vocal cords. He's going to get a sore throat."
The people at the dinner theater are going to be so disappointed.
Truly.
More than they would have otherwise been.
Truly. So it's also speculated that this was the time that, he already cut Carpenter out of his life. This is probably the time where he's calling up Patricia Olson, say, "Hey, I want a divorce." We don't know, though, for sure. But we know it was very heated on both ends. So Carpenter leaves Bob's condo, heads off to his nearby hotel. At some point, Bob Crane, goes to sleep. On the afternoon of June 29th, his co-star, Victoria Ann Barry, who he was having an affair with.
Victoria Ann Barry is a good name.
Isn't it?
Yeah, Barry, B-A-R-R-Y or B-E-R-R-Y?
B-E. Victoria Ann Barry.
I don't want to talk about berries anymore. After the SIE incident.
Well, Miss Victoria Ann Barry entered his apartment after he failed to show up for their lunch date. And this is where she discovered his body.
Oh. No!
So she approached the door.
Yeah.
And it was unlocked, which surprised her, but she let herself in. It's pitch black, all the shades were drawn, so she's calling for Bob's name through the halls, and she makes her way to the back bedroom. She sees somebody lying in the bed and thinks it's a woman because she saw what she thought was long hair fanned out all over the pillow and the bed sheets. When she realizes this person is dead, not breathing, she runs out and calls the police. But that wasn't a woman, it was Bob Crane, who had suffered such massive blood loss that the bleeding looked like dark hair all over the pillow and the bed sheets.
Is he okay?
Bob Crane was bludgeoned to death. That's my next sentence.
It's a follow-up.
With a weapon that was never fully identified, though investigators believed it to be a camera tripod.
Oh, that is just too much.
Right?
Come on.
The autopsy showed that Crane had likely stopped breathing shortly after the second blow struck, which is what killed him. Still, oddly, the killer wrapped an electrical cord in a bow tightly around his neck in case the blows to the head hadn't finished the job. There was also another interesting discovery at the scene. There was a white flaky substance on Crane's thigh, thought to be semen. Splooge.
You can't say that on this podcast.
What else
we gotta draw a line somewhere.
We gotta draw a line.
You can't say splooge on this podcast.
It was assumed that it could have been from a man who enjoyed himself after the murder had been committed. We don't know for sure. DNA testing was not around at the time, so we don't know whose it was or where it came from. And they did not think to save this specimen for further future testing. At the time, the Scottsdale police were completely out of their element. They had no homicide division at the time. They just didn't have one.
Oh. That seems kind of important.
Kind of, yeah. So it was very ill-equipped from the get-go to handle such a high-profile murder investigation, no less. So the crime scene yielded a few clues. There was no evidence of forced entry, Nothing of value was missing, which led the police to believe that whoever did commit the murder knew Crane, had a key, and or knew their way around the apartment. From what the police noted, there was also no struggle. They believed that Crane was attacked while he was sleeping. While the police were investigating, Crane's phone rang. Who could it be? So Victoria Barry, she picks up the phone, hands it over to the detective, and the person on the other line is, guess who?
Oh, of course.
John Carpenter.
Yes.
John Carpenter.
He's like, I'm looking for my tripod. Did I leave it there?
Basically, John Carpenter is like, hey, I'm John Carpenter. I was with Bob Crane last night. I called him at 1 o'clock this morning to tell him that I was going back to California. He told me he was going to be sleeping in late this morning.
Well, very late.
That was it. And the police are like, okay. They asked him some questions. Carpenter did not ask the police why they were there, why they picked up the phone, why they were investigating his friend's apartment. He just like, okay, bye. So,
that's all he said?
Well, guess what? He calls again. 30 minutes later, he calls again. And the detective asks him some questions, and he answers
He's like, did I leave my splooge there?
Basically. And again, no curiosity as to why police are answering his best friend's phone and why they're investigating there. The police are like, what the hell is happening? Who is this guy? So that's number one suspect right there, very quickly.
What did they call him? He was like, I hope you find a murder suspect.
I hope you guys find what you're looking for. So after reviewing the research about the murder investigation, including police video from Crane's condo on the day of his murder, it was pretty clear that the police grossly mishandled the crime scene. You know, from Victoria and the detective picking up the phone.
I mean,
sans gloves.
Does it even matter?
Well, it does.
Oh.
It does matter. They were walking in and out, letting people in and out without any protection. They let people pick up the phone, let them take things out of the condo. They let people smoke in there. If you look at the crime scene video, you will actually see the medical examiner crawling on top of the bed with Bob still in it and starting to manipulate the body and do things with the body before Bob has ever been removed from the room. Like, what the, like, it's like a rag doll or some shit. Like, what are you doing?
He picks up his hat. He's like, hey, I'm on TV.
Yeah, basically. Like, and I have to say, again, no, DNA was not a thing at this point. But there were still protocols. Yeah. Fingerprints were a thing. Like, hello? What are we doing here?
Damn.
So, initial reports of the homicide indicated that the murder weapon was probably like a car jack or a tire iron, but later reports honed in on this camera tripod, one of the many pieces of camera gear that was in Crane's room that was never found. Also, the actual murder weapon left an imprint of blood on the bed sheets. Left an imprint of blood on the bed sheets, consistent with the legs of a tripod. And again, with how much evidence there was, I cannot even emphasize. There was blood everywhere, not just on Bob and the bed sheets and the pillow. It was on the wall. It was on the ceiling. It was sprayed everywhere. It was on his diaries. It was on his side. It was on doorknobs. It was on the curtain. It was literally everywhere. Not just blood, but like brain matter.
Yeah, head injuries bleed a lot.
Yes, and it did, and it splattered a lot, and particles and tissue spread everywhere. So like they had a lot to work with here. And they fucked it all up.
Yeah, it sounds that way.
Yeah. Also, this is a very contested rumor about this story, but there were rumors of a black bag that Crane would carry around with him that supposedly had scandalous images and videos of different men and women in them. Some very famous, some not famous, but basically everybody recalled him having this black bag and the rumor was that he had these nefarious photos and images in it, so that was missing at the scene. We do not have it confirmed it's very up in the air whether that bag existed, whether, it was actually ever missing. But that was a very important topic because in the terms of like who done it, somebody in that bag who might not have wanted to have those photos and videos released maybe might have done something.
Oh, so it might have started over the black bag.
It might have, which is why it's important to note, but I don't know of its validity entirely.
Water break.
So, although the bag was missing,
yeah,
Crane still had an extensive home video collection from his home videos that he had made. Mm-hmm. And the police went through all of it, and it very quickly led them to Carpenter, along with that phone call. He led them
Carpenter.
Carpenter, yes. So, Carpenter's rental car was impounded and searched. Several blood smears were found that matched Crane's blood type, which was type B. Further solidifying their case, type B blood is, did you know, one of the rarest, with only 9% of the population having type B blood.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So it was also very rare to have not only blood smears in your car so close to this murder, but also type B blood.
Yeah. Type O is the most rare, correct?
Type O is the most coveted.
It's universal donor.
Yes. Type B is the rarest. No. Type AB positive is... I don't know if it's the rarest, but it's the most difficult to match.
Oh, I see.
Because you can't match an... Oh, no, it's AB negative. Because you can't match positives with it.
Is it AB negative too?
Yeah. AB negative is the rarest because 2 negatives make a positive, but you can't have a positive make that negative. So you either, if you have AB negative blood, you either need to have an AB negative donor, or an O negative donor. You can only have 2 blood types received.
You know this information. Why?
Because I'm a vampire. No, I learned this in 7th grade, but I also just give a lot of blood.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, give blood.
Right.
If you haven't.
Didn't you cry last time?
I didn't cry last time. Who was that
who told me they cried when they gave blood?
I've literally never cried giving blood.
I remember somebody cried.
Oh, I cried. Okay. I cried not because I gave blood, but because I was giving blood on election day.
Oh, right.
And I was trying to do something worthwhile, but I was very stressed.
Right. I remember that. So yeah, we talked about that on the podcast.
We did. Yes.
Have things gotten better?
No! Substantially worse. But,
So all the evidence points to this guy. This guy points to this guy.
This guy points to this guy.
He calls the cops up while they're at the crime scene and gives them his full name.
Literally.
Apropos of nothing.
Literally.
So they somehow fuck the case up so much that they...
Yes.
That is tragic.
Yes. So again, DNA testing is not yet available, but despite all of this, they felt like they had a slam dunk. They had the circumstantial evidence. They had this blood in the rental car, but the district attorney declined to file charges. There wasn't enough evidence, they said. Too much of it was circumstantial. After declining to press charges, the case went cold for over 12 years. No other leads were found until 1990 when a Scottsdale police investigator re-examined the evidence. And guess what they found?
What?
They found that the DNA testing was inconclusive, unfortunately, but they found evidence in a photograph of the car's interior that appeared to show a piece of brain tissue near the window. An actual piece of fucking brain tissue. Now, the actual tissue samples had been lost. But the judge did rule that this new evidence from the photo, at least, was admissible. So Carpenter was arrested and charged with Crane's murder in 1992.
Finally.
At the trial, Scotty, the son, testified that Crane repeatedly expressed a desire to terminate the relationship with Carpenter. He said that Carpenter had become a hanger-on, a nuisance, to the point of being obnoxious. Scotty further testified that they had essentially broken up and that his father was telling him that they were going to break up, for lack of a better term.
Right.
However, Carpenter's attorneys attacked the prosecution's case as circumstantial and inconclusive, which truthfully it kind of was, because they lost all of that evidence.
Yeah.
They have a lot of what they have is literally inconclusive and circumstantial. They noted that the murder weapon had never been found. The prosecution's tripod theory was just speculation.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought that the tripod was in the room with him.
So his tripod was missing. The imprints were of the tripod. The bludgeon looked like it was a tripod, but the tripod itself was missing. So there is no murder weapon.
Just imagine, you know how much it hurts to get hit by one stick? Now do that 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's rough.
Well, it only happened. He only got hit twice, and that was it. That's why.
That's a pretty effective murder weapon.
That's a pretty effective murder weapon.
Yeah, if anything, he got hit 6 times.
Yeah, he got hit 6 times. Yeah.
That's all it takes.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
May he rest in peace.
Oh, gosh. They also pointed out that Crane had been videotaped and photographed in several sexual relations with numerous women, implying that any one of them or their husbands or boyfriends might have been the murder weapon. The murder weapon. The murderer. And they were pointing out to multiple like violent outbursts from these jealous boyfriends and whatnot. So ultimately Carpenter was acquitted and he maintained his innocence until his death. Now I will say that there are other people who might be responsible. So like, for example, Crane's son Scotty speculated publicly that Patricia Olson might have had a role in instigating the crime. He said nobody got a dime out of the murder except for one person, alluding to Crane's will, which left his entire estate to Olson while excluding him, his siblings, and his mother. Now remember, this was before their divorce was finalized. Weeks before their divorce was finalized that his murder took place. And there was that alleged call that the neighbors and Carpenter both overheard with him arguing with Patricia Olson.
Well, the man was doing dinner theater, so it's not like he had a massive fortune.
No, but he did have substantially more than what anybody else did around there.
Yeah, but unless she was working,
she wasn't.
Unless she was working with Carpenter, then I don't see how she'd be involved.
So that's the thing. People think that, and evidence has kind of pointed towards it being a man, because the force that you need to hit somebody twice and then have it be it, and then have it like splatter on the ceiling, like that's a lot of force that you would need, and they didn't think a woman could have that force. So it would have to be a strong man who could also then potentially like overtake Crane had he woken up, because if you don't hit him hard enough, you might wake up.
Yeah.
So
R.I.P. Rest in pod.
It's also thought that maybe rest in pug?
Pod.
Rest in pod. It is thought that it is thought that though, if a woman was involved, she wouldn't have been working alone. Maybe maybe one of her boyfriends or her husbands wanted to work with him. Victoria Barry's boyfriend, he was very jealous. He knew something was going on.
Okay.
And Carpenter later said, this is real convincing, "I don't go around and kill my pals. I played around a lot, about a lot of women, and made a lot of mistakes that hurt people close to me. I ain't no saint. But I never even had a fight with Bob, goddammit. He was my friend. And the way and he was the goose that laid the golden egg for me in terms of meeting ladies." And to that he kind of was. So like, I understand that.
People really spoke that way.
People really did. So officially, Crane's murder remains unsolved to this day. All of the DNA evidence that was left is now destroyed because it was tested, used, or left behind. There were blood samples taken later on in like 2016. A couple DNA sequences were identified, but they were just like far too degraded to reach a conclusion.
Which is interesting because on one of our past episodes, we talked about DNA evidence from Jack the Ripper that was not so degraded as to be unusable.
Yes.
And was used to link.
Exactly.
Like his crimes to somebody.
So I will say that has not been peer reviewed.
Oh, I see.
Yet. But it is looking good towards that Aaron Kaminsky ruling. Mm-hmm. I think what had happened was, I mean, it's not that people didn't know science was a thing. People knew it was a thing, but they just didn't have it yet. Mm-hmm. So what probably happened was these relatives of the Jack the Ripper victim probably kept their, their deceased relatives' clothing. They probably, like, either from memorabilia or whatever, but they probably had some inkling that, like, maybe down the line science could uncover this, because it wasn't, too far off. Mm-hmm. You're doing fingerprinting and shit. But yeah, they just, like, totally fucked up the whole thing.
Yeah.
And same with, like, John Benet Ramsey. You have shit like that where people are just, like, tramping through.
I think the most damning piece of evidence is the brain matter in this fucking car.
Matter. Like, what?
Yeah, in his car.
Yes.
How do you explain that? Did he sneeze too hard? Like, you don't get brain matter and blood in your car from your friend.
Maybe he had allergies. You don't know.
I don't know. I think the case is solved.
No, I would also agree that the case is solved. I have some weird facts here just because I found them and they're just really fucking weird. So, Crane's life and murder was actually the subject of a 2002 film called Autofocus. I believe Willem Dafoe was in it.
Oh.
It was deemed brilliant by critic Robert Ebert.
Eggers?
No, Ebert.
Thinking of Roger Eggers. Robert Eggers? Is that another Robert?
Yes, there's fucking more.
Why is his story
Roger.
Okay.
Roger. But Carpenter was played by Willem Dafoe.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, it goes much darker and a little bit untrue. It goes much deeper into his sex addiction and like BDSM shit and whatnot. And like that was not true. But then I thought it was so crazy that there was a movie about it. But in June 2001, his son. Fuck me.
Scott, what word are you saying?
His son, Scotty.
Oh, okay.
Launched the bobcrane.com website, which remained active as late as May 2017. It included a paid section featuring photographs, outtakes from his father's sex films, and Crane's autopsy report that proved, he said, that his father did not have a penile implant as stated in the movie Autofocus.
That's your dad!
It gets worse. Explicit photographs and videos from Crane's private archive could also be purchased for a monthly subscription fee of $19.95.
What the fuck, Scotty?
The site was renamed Bob Crane, the official website, but is now abandoned. An official licensing website of Bob Crane was maintained by CMG Worldwide elsewhere on the internet, but it is now defunct as of February 2003.
That's like opening up an OnlyFans for your deceased father.
Literally! That's literally what it was! I just had to mention it because it was so fucking weird! Damn. Literally nothing to do with the case, but it was just so fucked up. Like, what?
What is this world? What is this fucking world?
So that is the quote-unquote unsolved murder of Bob Crane, who I think we know the murder.
Yeah.
But not technically. It is still technically unsolved in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Huh. Wow, what a wild ride.
Just like a trip.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, I just wanted something like not more lighthearted in terms of the Hollywood gossip.
This is a more lighthearted murder.
Yeah, I got bludgeoned to death. But you know. Yeah.
But it wasn't like, it was only two.
Just two hits.
Two hits.
Yeah.
Sure, there was blood on the ceiling.
Yeah. Brain matter in the car.
Yeah, but
it was lighthearted. Uh-huh. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that was my story for the day. Well, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was wonderful. Thank you so much, Madison.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was a trip. It was a trip. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's Octogenarian episode. If you like this, please give us a like and a subscribe. give us a little rating. Ring that bell, do all the things that all these people say to do. We'd really appreciate it. Dylan, where can they find you?
Marblefolk on Instagram.
And you can find me at Madison Epley if you want to. I don't do much. I travel and I do theater. So that's about it.
But not dinner theater.
Never dinner theater. And if you want to send us an email, feel free to do that at myexistentialcrisispodcast@gmail.com. Feel free to send in some topic ideas. Just say hi. We love friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just say hi.
Just say hi.
Bye.
Bye.